I never thought about fight worlds. I have 2 world titles, purple and brown belt. I got a second place at Nogi Worlds as a black belt. I did finals of the major tournaments, like Brazilian Nationals as a black belt, gi, Nogi, and like, man, I did so way beyond things that I was imagining that I could do it. I'm pretty happy, man. I'm pretty happy. I want my students do way more things, like things that I couldn't do it. I want to help them to believe that they are capable of, and for sure I want to help them to achieve these things. That's my real goal. Like I wanna make them way better than me.
Tomas, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you, Stephan.
Thanks again for helping with the Fabio Gurgel pressure passing instructional that we shot, I guess, almost a year ago.
Yeah, almost 1 year ago.
It is really good to have you there to take some of the pressure off of me. Literally.
It was tough.
Yeah, we got smashed pretty good that day, or those couple of days that it took to film that.
Yeah.
So, thank you for coming into the studio today. I don't normally go chronologically when talking to people, but you got an interesting story. So, you grew up in Brazil, obviously.
Yes, I grew up in Brazil in a small city. It's not a very small city. It's Taubaté, the city, 1 hour from São Paulo.
Okay.
So I started training Jiu-Jitsu over there in an Alliance franchise under Alex Monsalvo and Daniel Cabello. I was 16. I want to learn how to defend myself and so on.
Was that, so self-defense was your main initial focus? Yes,
actually I had a friend who was doing Jiu-Jitsu. He's a very good friend of mine. And he showed me some tricks. I was, man, that's that's the best martial art I ever seen in my life. So I want to learn that.
Had you done other martial arts before? Or?
I did judo, capoeira, a little bit karate when I was very, very young.
Okay.
And then, when I saw Jiu-Jitsu, I was, oh man, that's the real deal.
So you had a little bit of experience in other arts.
I really like judo, but the problem of judo was it started to get boring to me because it was like, okay, I wanna improve my judo. Okay, so do a lot of soinagis, do quickly, So it was not like new techniques, it was different approaches. And when I saw Jiu-Jitsu, that was like, man, there's so
1 billion techniques. And
exactly, there's tons of ways that I can improve. So I really got in love.
Yeah, it's amazing, really, especially the old school judo mentality of like, okay, uchikomi, you're going to do 1,000 entries for your throw, whatever your throw is.
Which is great to improve, right? But I think Jiu-Jitsu or judo have to be also fun.
Right.
I want to improve, I want to be better, but I want to also have fun as I'm doing.
Right.
And judo will start to get bored to me, so that's why after 1 or 2 years I quit judo.
Okay. The reason you started with self-defense, was it you're just worried about self-defense, or are you getting in lots of fights, or, I mean, you're not a big guy.
No, I was a big guy, 16 years old, very, small, and yeah, I had some fights when I was young. And I also want to learn, like, okay, man, if someone wanna mess with me, I don't wanna run away, I wanna know how to deal with myself,
Mm-hmm.
So it was very good for my confidence, especially in that age that things sometimes get ugly. But the good thing is, as soon as I started doing Jiu-Jitsu, I was going to a different direction. All right, I wasn't thinking only about the self-defense and I want to learn how to protect. I was like more into the sport. Oh man, I want to compete. I was seeing my training partners on that time, and they were kind of my reference.
Mm-hmm.
So man, I want to follow their paths, their steps. So it was great for me,
Which probably kept you out of fights. Because now you're hanging out with a different crowd and hopefully doing something semi-healthy.
For sure.
So what do you say about the people who are like, man, I want to do Jiu-Jitsu for self-defense. I don't want to go do sport Jiu-Jitsu. I think that this is a little bit of a false, it's not actually that simple that there's sport Jiu-Jitsu and self-defense.
It's Jiu-Jitsu. False because everything is Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
Right? Like, the Jiu-Jitsu without self-defense is not real Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu without the competitive aspects is not 100% Jiu-Jitsu. I think Jiu-Jitsu is so huge, all right? And that's why I got in love with Jiu-Jitsu, that, everything is Jiu-Jitsu, learn how to defend a slap in your face, like a choke, but also learn the new techniques is also important for develop your Jiu-Jitsu in a whole, So I don't think there's like a self-defense jiu-jitsu. I think everything should be together.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, but certainly some schools put more emphasis on self-defense.
Yeah.
And I find often, not always, but often they do much less sparring.
Yes.
And then there are some schools that do focus more on competition, and usually those schools do more sparring.
Yes.
See,
what I think about that?
Yeah.
I don't like either. All right. I think, for example, at Alliance, what do? We have the beginners class.
Right.
And the beginners class is for everyone. All right. But it's mandatory for new guys. So we teach the foundations. You know, leverage, technique, how to defend yourself in all situations possible. And this class, like the students have an idea about what jiu-jitsu is. All right. So after a while, they can go to the Modulo 2 class, which you have like a position sparring, is more advanced techniques. But it doesn't mean that the student cannot go back to this beginner's class. He can, train. So I think we should...
And you have advanced guys who are going to the beginner classes.
Exactly. And then we have the advanced class, and this class is more for the competition scenario, So I like to approach all the things that jiu-jitsu can give it to us, And maybe like, let's say you're not athlete, right? You just like jiu-jitsu, let's say that. So it's okay for you to do your beginner's class, your Modulo 2 class. Don't go to the advanced class, That class is for guys who want to compete, all right? That's okay, You're going to learn jiu-jitsu still, all right? But if I just offer to you like a advanced class, maybe you're not going to like jiu-jitsu, Or maybe if you're like a guy who want to compete and I just give it to you the self-defense and this and that,
you find
not
another school.
Also, yeah, exactly. So I like to try to give everything,
So what led you to Alliance in São Paulo? Like that's the big central school, right?
So what happened was I was blue belt. I was really into jiu-jitsu. I just got my blue belt actually, and my teacher at that time, Alex, he left my city, and my other teacher, Daniel Cabello, he was with an injury on his back, on his lower back. So I was without teacher for a while, And I didn't know what to do. Many guys quit on that time. I didn't have a teacher, so I started to try training by myself. Or we had some survivors, right? The guys who were there, loved jiu-jitsu. So we were training together, but it was really hard for me. And that time we didn't have YouTube, all these things, right? So it was really hard for me staying jiu-jitsu. But even though I was training, I was starting to compete, everything by myself. So when my first teacher, Daniel Cabello, he had recovered, we talk with each other and say, man, let's start to train with Fabio in São Paulo. Let's do some trips to São Paulo. It was 1 hour and a half from my city. So we are going 2-3 times a week to train with Fabio. So we are learning from him. And everything that we learned from him, we are learning there. We are bringing to my city, and we are practicing. So
this was shortly after the big Alliance, because Alliance had a big split.
Yes.
Like a whole bunch of the people in Alliance left.
Yes.
I don't think that's... Fabio's talked about it on this podcast, so I don't think that's any secret.
No, it's not a secret. So I think when this break happened in 2003.
Right.
And I started training in 2004.
Okay. So
and
you're in the rebuilding phase.
Yeah. And I didn't understand what happened, right?
Sure.
And I started training with Fabio in 2006.
Okay.
So on that time, like things start to get better, I think.
This is when Marcelo Garcia was kind of the main fighter.
Yeah, when I started training, all right, I was like, okay, I'm a part of Alliance. So, and I knew Alliance was 2 times were champion by team. So I want to see, right, who were these guys who were the world champions. And then I discovered that the guys left, but we had a guy, and this guy was really, really, really good. So it was Marcelo. So I started to search for his stuff and so on, and then I saw him fighting, and this guy's amazing, right? And then, so Marcelo was my idol in Jiu-Jitsu, right? Him, Fabio. And then, but he left to New York, so I didn't see him in São Paulo. I didn't have the chance to watch him.
Oh, you never trained with him in São Paulo?
No,
okay.
No. When I started training there, he already left.
Okay.
And in 2007, some guys start to come to Alliance, Cobrinha, Lucas Lepre, Michael Lange. So it was I didn't have Marcelo in São Paulo, but I have...
A whole bunch of killers anyway.
Yes,
Yeah.
great guys.
Were those guys all black belt at that point?
Lange was brown belt,
Okay.
but he was already a beast.
Okay. Okay. So now, there you are. You did a lot of training in São Paulo at the headquarters of Alliance in Brazil.
Yeah.
As I think it's fair to say, split or no split, it's one of the centers of Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil.
Yeah.
And you've taught all over Europe. You've taught all over North America. What are the main differences between sort of training Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil and training Jiu-Jitsu outside of Brazil?
There's some difference there. I think here in North America is more like a business thing. At least on that time. While in Brazil, people are kind of like, we have the master, we have to follow the master. If you left your gym, you're creonte. So basically, what
does creonte mean?
Creonte is when you're trained, right, in your gym, but then you decide to left.
Okay.
Right,
I totally want to get into that because I know that's a controversial topic, but let's go back to Brazil versus North America, or Brazil versus the world.
Yeah, so I think it was pretty much that. Of course, in Brazil, everyone in 2007, 6, Brazil was the like most of the good guys were training in Brazil, was competing in Brazil. The Jiu-Jitsu here in North America was not that big,
sure.
But so Brazil was basically better, all right. And nowadays I see things more well balanced, all right. In States, Brazil, in Europe, you see, man, good guys everywhere nowadays, everywhere.
So, but why do you think the initial dominance of Brazil, was it just that there were 10 times or 100 times more people doing Jiu-Jitsu and more experience, or was it that a class, if you went to Jiu-Jitsu class in São Paulo, it would look very different than if you went to a Jiu-Jitsu class in Chicago?
I think Jiu-Jitsu didn't give you money, all right, and still, right, it's like, it's not everyone who makes money in Jiu-Jitsu. So imagine that you're, I don't know, here in the United States, like training Jiu-Jitsu, and then you want to compete. But when you see like how thing works, you're not gonna spend all your day, your life training for something that you're not gonna make money competing. So why you gonna train every day, hurt your
Right. So you win the Chicago Open and you get a medal, but you don't get money.
But in Brazil, all right, we have like financially speaking, right, we have many people that that don't have like a good condition.
You mean like sponsors?
No, I'm saying like in life, right?
Okay.
They don't have much, and when they see Jiu-Jitsu, and they see that if they are good on that, they can do seminars outside Brazil. They can have a gym in Brazil, or so. I think, maybe that's one of the reasons that
so the
people in Brazil are so dedicated.
The rewards of being a successful competitor in Brazil, there was a bigger reward because now you could maybe go on a seminar tour or make some money.
And that's what happened, right, for many years.
Yeah. Well, you certainly did that.
I did that. I still doing it, right? Yeah. So it was great for me, So we dedicate ourselves. But today we see Canadians doing seminars. We see Americans doing seminars, Japanese doing seminars. Yeah. So if you're good in Jiu-Jitsu, you're gonna, make seminars. You're gonna, show your Jiu-Jitsu for the world. But on that time was a Brazil thing.
Right.
So if you can go outside Brazil, if you have outstanding performance in tournaments, you'd probably go for seminars, and have you're gonna be well known about your Jiu-Jitsu and so on. So
just a weird little question: when you're training Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil, coming up through the belts, I don't know, you're a purple belt. You must be thinking maybe one day I'll be traveling, doing seminars, or was that not even a thought?
Okay, so
I'm wondering about at what point you go, man, I need to learn English.
Just now.
Okay.
And I really regret about that. But the point is, like, I was doing Jiu-Jitsu, all right, and I never thought about fight or like a world championship, right? I was like, for me, it was something so huge that it was not for me. And then when I got my purple belt, I started to become very close with Bruno Monfacini.
Right.
And he was telling me, man, you should go, you should compete. He was, putting that like fire on me. And I was, what, maybe I should try, because it would be cool, like, later on, I say to my kids, like, man, I fought the world championship once.
Right.
I traveled to United States. I've never traveled to Brazil until then. I was 21. So I just got my purple belt. I did my visa stuff, and then I flew to United States to compete the worlds first time. I think first tournament as a purple belt as well.
Where was that? In the
California.
US? California.
Yeah, it was in Long Beach. So I fought. I did my first fight. I won. Second fight I won. Third fight I won. Fourth fight, semi-final I won. And when I was in the final, I was whoa, oh my god! And then I lost. But you know, like I was. Wow,
I'm doing so well. I better not screw up.
Actually, I remember after I won my semi-final. It was 4 fights. I went to the shower, like to throw some water on my face. I was tired, and I was, man, I'm in the final. Like, I thought I would have lost in the first fight, right? So I was kind of excited, but also very surprised about nerve about you know, like, wow. And then I lost, and then I come back to Brazil and thinking like, man, maybe I can do this for a living, you know, maybe, you know, and maybe I can win the worlds, all right? So, and then I start to, okay, what I did wrong.
What did you do wrong?
Many things.
Well, okay, well, give
like
me.
I until then, I never have lift weights.
Okay.
All right, it was just Jiu-Jitsu. I never had like eating properly. Like one day before, I was eating M&Ms to compete. Like I was and drinking Coke. Like so, I was doing everything wrong. So when I came back, I talked to this guy, Rubens Gomes. He's very well known in the bodybuilding world. Yeah. All right, he's from my town. Today he lives in Orlando, Florida. And I got in touch.
Who else does he train? The name sounds really familiar.
He trained some bodybuilders, like famous bodybuilders, like I think.
But has he done other jiu-jitsu guys too?
I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. Okay.
But I talked to him because, man, I saw that I was weaker than my opponent. You know, I don't want to be weaker than my opponents. I want to, you know, have like some strength. So I talked to him, and he started to help me, and he started to help my nutrition as well. All right. So he was, man, eat this and that. You cannot fight without cut weights. That's like that doesn't exist, you know. Like you get weaker than the guys. Everyone cut weight. So I start to prepare myself to the next year, and then in the next year I finally won. Like I won the worlds, got my brown belt. As soon as I got my brown belt, I was in college as well. All right, so I was doing sports science in Brazil. Okay. So I was training and studying, you know.
Busy life.
I was busy. And with some pressure of my family to make money, hey, this jiu-jitsu thing is not gonna work, right? And so, but I had the university to, you know, like, man, doing university now, let me do my
doing thing. The university, keep them quiet.
And then when I finished, we talk about that, right? So they were, my mom was supporting me so much. My dad was kind of, man, be more aware about my situation, but things were working out. So when I got my brown belt, I competed worlds again, got 3rd place in my first year. But it was my last year in the university. So when I finished the university, then like what was really hard for me, like my dad was, man, you have to make money. You have to make money. What are you gonna survive? You know, we can't like sponsor you for your life. I was 23. Right. And I was...
He's thinking, oh my God, this kid's gonna be 50 years old, I'm still gonna be paying.
But you know what's the problem? I was thinking like, man, I think I didn't give everything that I could give to say, okay, I try live doing jiu-jitsu, but I can't. But I was with that feeling that, man, I can do a little bit more to, you know, to do not quit. So I talked to my mom and said, Mom, let me try one more year. Please help me. I want to, you know, do my best. And if it doesn't work, I'll be fine. Like I try, right? At least I have in my mind that I try. So she said, yeah, let's go. If you want to do it, I'm with you. And then Bruno Malfacini, he moved to Orlando, Florida, and he didn't have many guys to train with. And then we talked with each other and said, man, come, I train you. I can train you, I can help you, and you can, you know, help me. Of course, I couldn't help him, but come. So I went there, I trained 4 months with him. I was doing my best. It was really hard because reais, which is our currency, $2 was like huge difference, so it was hard for my family to help me. Right. So Bruno helped me so much, you know. And in the words that year, he won his division and I won my division. So when I came back to Brazil, I came back and I was in that transition, like okay, I want the words, but I needed to make things happen, right? So I told my mom, Mom, I want to live in São Paulo for real. Let me try 6 months there, 6 months, all right? Because we didn't finish the year. And she said, okay, let's go. You want to do it? Let's do it. So she was holding my back. I went to São Paulo. I started to train with Fab like full time. And then I was winning all the tournaments, like purple, brown belt, I was winning like pretty much all the tournaments. And after South American Championship, I won. Fabio gave me my black belt. And then I was, okay, now I'm going to compete against the black belts. I was really excited, like I signed up to the Europeans. And then like right before the Europeans, Fabio told me, hey, Marcelo needs a guy over there.
He's in New York at that point.
Yes, in New York. I wanted you to leave, all right, but I can't think about any other person. I think you're the guy.
So that's Fabio saying.
Yeah. He were sad for me to man. I think you should go spend some time there. And man, Marcelo was my idol. I was like, man, really New York City, like a guy from Taubaté, a small town in Brazil. And so I was, man, for sure, let's go,
What was it like moving to New York from?
It's crazy, man. Because Fabio told me, you know what, like you were like in Orlando, Florida, you speak English, so I think you're the guy to go. But I didn't speak English. I spent 4 months in Florida.
Speaking Portuguese.
And we have many Brazilians in Orlando. But I say, yeah, for sure, like I'm the guy, like, man. But man, English is not gonna be the obstacle for me to go there, right? Yeah. And I didn't know any English, like it was very, just a couple of words. So I remember that as soon as I got into the gym, I arrived on a Friday. And then the idea was Marcelo were about to talk to me to tell how things work in his gym, and then Monday I would start. But I don't know what happened. That on Friday they say, Thomas, you have to start right now. We have a class here, and we mess it up here, but you have to teach. And I just got arrived from Brazil, so I was okay, man. It was like 50 or 60 people in that class.
No pressure.
I taught that class, and then
Do you remember what you taught?
Bravo choke from close guard.
Okay.
I remember that. But was like terrible, right?
Yeah.
Guys, grab it here, and I go here, okay? And then I squeeze it here. I was using my here vocabulary. Okay. So I talked to Marcelo. Man, he was so friendly, so such a nice guy. And then I realized, okay, now I need to learn English. And how? So I create my own method to learn English.
Oh, really?
Which was I used to write on the Google Translator. All right, in Portuguese what I wanna say on my phone. And then John Satava. John Satava?
I've heard of him.
Black belt in the Marcelo.
I've never met him, but
he was my roommate.
No.
So I gave it to him to see, man, that's right. And of course, it wasn't right. The Google Translator doesn't translate that right. So he say, man, no, it's not right. And he was adjusting for me like the words, and then I was clicking to hear the sound. And I was repeating. So I write like, hey guys, let's start by grabbing the collar,
Oh, so that's, you write out the lessons?
That I was about to give.
Okay.
So I was hearing. That was my method, like, man, that's what I needed to know.
So at some point you're like a brown belt in English for teaching Jiu-Jitsu and a blue belt in English for ordering a sandwich because you're
it was like that, exactly like that. And it was funny because after my explanation, I used to ask like the students, hey guys, you have questions? And someone like, hey, I have, what do you do here? And they didn't understand nothing. So what I did, I repeat the whole explanation again. So the guys were thinking like, man, this guy's crazy. And I was, man, what can I do? I don't know what they're asking. It was pretty much how
Well, I mean, it worked. I mean, I see, you're running a successful school. You're teaching a lot on Instagram. You've taught on my YouTube channel, and it's been very well received. So,
thanks.
Welcome to your black belt.
Thanks.
Maybe black belt, no stripes.
In English?
Yeah, in English.
No, man. Blue belt. Blue belt for stripes, maybe.
So, Did you end up, when you were teaching at Marcelo's, you're obviously training at Marcelo's as well, and at that point, like, he was, I'm not saying probably the best in the world, he was the best in the world.
I think it's very personal, right? Who is the best in the world? For me, the best in the world is Roger Gracie, followed by Marcelo.
Okay.
All right. I think Roger is the best. Marcelo is the second.
Okay. Why do you think Roger is the best?
He seeks for perfection, and he make that happen. Like you see, he doesn't go back. He's just going forward. And I'm not saying about positioning. It's about details, tiny details, you know. And man, he never tapped in his life. 10 times world champion. He won one ADCC, finishing all his matches.
That's pretty cool.
You know, and people say, man, but Roger Gracie is big. That's why he finished all the fights. No, it's not true. You see many big guys that cannot do what he did. They can't. All right. His technique is amazing. You know, for me, he's the best of all time. Marcelo is the second. And you know, it doesn't mean that, you know, man, Marcelo is amazing. I learned so much from him, and
he's definitely the best guy that I've ever rolled with. Like, just, I mean, just
probably,
getting destroyed is
he's
not
amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing. And when I was there, I spent 6 months there, 6 or 7 months. So he was teaching me his game. I learned so much from him, so much. I'm forever grateful for Marcelo, you know, about what he did for me. I've never trained no gi at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Never?
I trained, of course, a few times here and there, but I didn't have
not systematically.
No, I didn't like, man, Jiu-Jitsu is gi for me. In Brazil, we have this culture. Jiu-Jitsu is gi. Nowadays, it's changing. But I love it. Start to train no gi and learning, because you know what's the problem? I think, Stephan. Sometimes I don't know, like you don't train no gi, right? And you can say, man, I don't like no gi. It's easier you say you don't like no gi, then you train no gi, learn, be good at, and then okay, now I don't like. Right. So when we are bad in something, it's easier for us to give an excuse about why you're not good in that thing.
For sure.
You know, it's the same thing.
It's easier to say I don't like it than I'm no good at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I'm no good at it right now.
Exactly. Like and that happened with me as well. Like, I don't like no gi. For example, Jiu-Jitsu aspect here. Like the guys used to say, Thomas, you have to be good at the back. All right. So you have to be really good back, but forget mount position, because mount position is not for small guys. And I was okay. I got it. So I was start to develop my back attacks, my back control, and to start to be really good on that. But then at some point, like, I was, why can't I be good at the mount position? Why? Just because it's small? No, there's something wrong. So I remember to ask Fabio, hey Fabio, I want to be good at mount. Can you help me? And for sure. So little by little, I start to develop my mount game, and I start to be kind of good at mount position. You know, so
you went from I don't like the mount, but you weren't good at mount.
Exactly. You know, so this thing turned my mind. Like, man, why? You know, I can be good at mount. I have just to practice. You know, so I started to do a lot of specific training. When I was training with someone and I got set control, all right, I wasn't trying to finish from the set control. I was trying to have a very good control, find a very good control, and go to the mount with a very good control in the mount, and then, okay, now how I'm gonna finish? Like it's here, okay, a little bit deeper, but how I find my base, you know, all these little things, and it took a lot of time, but I think that's how things should work, you know. You have to stop, it's easier for us to give an excuse, right? You have to try to solve the problem that what I was trying.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, you're never going to be good at. I get this a lot. I get people going, man, you know, like my guard passing sucks, but my pin escapes are pretty good. My arm bars are great, but my chokes suck. And I'm like, that's normal. You're never going to have all parts of your game be equally good.
Yeah.
Like the best black belt.
Improve it, right?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But even the best black belt in the world is going to. His takedowns will be better than his guard sweeps, or the other way around.
Exactly.
There's going to be somewhere where he's not equally good at everything.
It's the same thing of the stand-up game. Like I always say, like, man, I don't like takedowns. It hurts, you know. I don't. Man, I'm bad on that. That's why I'm saying that. So what I have to do, I have to, man, stop with this excuse, with this bullshit thing, and be good at the takedowns. So
and now you've got Nick Mguala, who's been on my podcast, you've got videos teaching at your school.
Always asking him details, like, man, Nick, what do you do here and there, and he's always welcome to help me out, you know.
Now your game for a small guy isn't that explosive. Like I mean, it's not like.
I like more pressure.
Yeah.
You know, even though I'm a small guy, like I say that I'm a small guy with a heavy guy game.
Yeah.
All right. So I think maybe it's because my teacher, you know, Fabio has, and I kind of could understand his the way that he thinks and he you know how he applies his techniques, and I love it. So I try to copy, you know, what he does, even though I know that's impossible.
So then how are you adapting to the takedown game, which, I mean, there's a lot of speed involved. If you're taking a slower jiu-jitsu game and now trying to make the transition to wrestling, where, I mean, when you shoot, man, you got to be reasonably fast.
Yes.
How's the transition going?
I'm still working on that, and it's not easy for me, you know. But what I try to do, I try to feel comfortable on my feet, you know. So if I see that you're a very good guy and fast, okay, how is my stance? I'm safe. Okay, I'm safe here. So I try to understand your reactions. Even though you're fast as you're moving, I can be as fast as you, you know, in how I think, you know. And then I can, even though I'm slow here, I can like do something and I can stop you.
Right.
And actually, that's how.
So if you pull guard, it's your choice. It's not like, oh my God, I have to pull guard, I have to pull guard, I have to pull guard.
Yes, exactly. You know, I can be comfortable on my feet and so on. So I think. But I'm still practicing. You know? I'm still practicing. So wrestling is not easy.
No.
So the judo, you know, is not easy.
So I know you kind of retired from competition. Are you any urge to go back, or?
I was thinking to compete the no-gi worlds right now.
Okay.
I was thinking, but I can't leave Canada because I'm applying to my PR right now.
Permanent resident.
Yeah, permanent resident.
Okay.
But I was
Gives you
thinking,
another year
I'm
to
not
think
saying
about
that I 100% retired, but definitely I'm not an athlete anymore. All right, so I'm not.
The focus is on teaching.
My focus is on my students.
Right.
You know, I have very good students. They're so dedicated. You know, they are there and they're asking me questions. They want to improve. So if I'm competing, if I'm 100% like focused on myself, after class I cannot stay and ask their question. I'll be tired. I need to go home. I need to you know, eat and sleep. So it's like a choice, you know, that I did. You know, like right now, if I want my guys to do a good job, you know, I have to give my 100% for them. Yeah. That's why I plan all my classes. I watch them training, and he's doing this thing wrong, but all that thing wrong. So I start to note, and I start to plan my next classes. So when they compete, I saw what they're doing right and wrong as well. Okay. You know, it's not everyone want to be a competitor there. It's like a few guys, 5, 10, no more than 10. All right, but many guys like to train hard. All right, and it's not because they're not a competitor that you don't need to be good in jiu-jitsu. You can be very good in jiu-jitsu. But I don't know, it's just a choice, you know. I choose right now to give my best for them as a teacher. All right. So everything that I think I did wrong, I try to, you know, don't help them to don't make the same mistake that I did.
Yeah, I mean, people ask, I'll ask you, do you need to compete to become a black belt in jiu-jitsu?
I think you should compete. I think it's very nice if you compete, you know. Why?
Do you think it's, well, first I want to hear why it's good, but I also want to hear, do you think it's necessary? Would you give a black belt to somebody who's never competed?
No, it's not necessary, all right? It's a fact. You can be good a black belt without compete. But I tell my guys, man, everyone should compete. Even though, man, I don't like competition, I don't want to train for it, that's okay, but try to compete once. Why? Because one, you're gonna experience something that the training can't give it to you.
Right.
All right. You're gonna feel pressure. There's a referee. There's people like yelling outside. You know, you're gonna see a guy who, you know, applying so much strength against you. So I think it is important to you feel this stressful situation, you know, and overcome. All right. So I think it helps you to develop your jiu-jitsu, and if you're a competitor, You can train really hard every day, but even though you're training hard, the competition will give it, once again, things that you can't have in training.
Some guy who does a completely different style of guard pass that nobody at your school does.
There's a strategy. You're gonna see guys stalling, all right? So there's so many things that can happen. So I think competition is a very healthy thing to do.
Well, to take us back to what we talked to initially, I actually think competing in sport jiu-jitsu, even if you go and you pull inverted guard, something crazy that you probably not do in a street fight, it's still good because that giant amount of stress that you're dealing with and the nervousness and the adrenaline, that's very applicable to self-defense. So you've got two guys standing in front of you and they want to beat the crap out of you, you're going to feel stressed. How do you prepare for that? I would say jiu-jitsu competition.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
So it's
I think
conditioning for the for the adrenal system.
Man, imagine how many skills do you have to do with some situation, and then but you have to learn how to defend like a trope. Of course you have.
Yeah.
All right, but it doesn't stop you to learn more things.
Yeah.
And apply that. Everything is applicable. I think so.
Okay. The last thing I wanted to ask you about is this idea of hero worship in jiu-jitsu. I mean, you had a hero, Marcelo Garcia.
Fabio
Gurgel, and you got to train with both of them, and they're both decent, good human beings. You're lucky, because there are people out there who aren't good and decent. But so, what do you think about this? Like people just following a teacher blindly. Like, I want to be your disciple. You lead. I'll do whatever you say, master.
That's it's not a good thing, right? Like, I mean. It's hard to say that, but I love my students, but I know that they can leave anytime. All right. It doesn't mean that it doesn't break my heart. Of course, it would break my heart, but I cannot own them.
They're not your students.
Of course,
They're
if
not
they
your
want to
human
leave, they go. So do I. If I don't know, if I want to leave one day, I have to go, even though it would break their hearts. The point is. This jiu-jitsu, especially back in the days, people were relating the jiu-jitsu teacher, master, as they are like, okay, everything that they say I have to follow and period. And so and the teacher was thinking, oh man, he has to do everything that they say. I don't
like a bad kung fu movie.
Yeah, it's not healthy at all. What I do, once again, if my students leave, they're free to go. Of course, it breaks my heart. But man, what can I do? All right, if they're not feeling happy training under me anymore, that's okay. I hope they find what they're looking for in another place, and that's fine. And if they stay with me, I feel this when I'm going to teach a class and I see 30, 40 people there waiting for to learn from me, man, that's such a compliment for me.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't think, oh man, I'm the guy.
They're lucky to be here.
No, man, that's like a compliment for me. So I try to give it, my best for them. All right, even though some days you're not feeling well, you don't teach in the way that you're used to, but I try to give my best every time. So. If they're not happy, man, that's okay. They can go, and if they stay, I'll be super happy. Because they appreciate of my teaching. They like my teaching. They like my personality, and so on. But I think that's how things should work.
Mm-hmm. So if they're not happy and they leave, it's almost your fault. It's not their fault.
Probably or things that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens.
For sure.
Right?
For sure. They want to learn a totally different type of game or whatever.
I don't stop them to go to other gyms.
Well, okay. So, is it okay if you're training with one gym to go and train with other people or at other gyms?
Totally. What I think, and sometimes, for example, let's say that we are training for words, you, me, and 4 more guys. All right, but you're always going to another gym. Then I don't think it's a good thing. Why? Because man, I need you to train. Where are you?
Mm-hmm.
We're training another guy, and let's say that I'm the teacher, so I'm organizing the training. Let's go to the World Championship. Let's do this, and that, and then you're training another place. Okay, man, I want to give my best to you, and they're not here. It's not fair with me and your training partners.
For sure.
So I think we needed this balance all right?
Okay.
But I think it's healthy, people go once in a while, train with other guys, learn, teach. That's okay, that's fine.
What about this idea of like giving secrets to the enemy? Like, because it could be the other school, right? And like you have a new choke that you're going to do in the competition. You show this guy, and now it's.
That's a hard question. I think that depends that depends, man. That's a hard question, man. You got me. Of course, you can teach these guys. I teach everything. Right, I don't keep things for myself. I teach everything. I don't care, and I have visitors coming from my to our gym all the time, and I teach. I train with them. I don't care, But so that's okay. But if you are helping this guy every time, and you know that he's going to compete against you or your training partners, that's not a good
I think
thing.
that's really where the problems come in. Say, I don't know, your alliance, the other guy's Gracie Baja or whatever, and he's going to be representing Gracie Baja or the other school at competition. Like, okay, like some cross training's okay, but I'm not going to be your coach, and then you go compete for the other school.
Yeah, we have some guys there in the gym that they do droppings every week, then train in another gym. So, and they are welcome to go. I just say, man, I can help you. If you have questions, I can take your questions. We train together, man. That's okay. But in competition, I'm not gonna, coach you.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but
where did this idea come from that you're not? Did it start with? I mean, I'm Carlson Gracie lineage.
Okay.
And I know Carlson came up with his term créanche or créante, of like sort of trader who goes and trains at other schools.
Man, Carlson created this word because for him was unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Yes, unacceptable. You even train with other guys, not leave your gym, train with other guys.
Right.
So no, we're gonna be together, secret training. Let's go and kill everyone, which was great until some point, right? Because that helped Jiu-Jitsu to grow in the competitive scenario,
Right.
the competition scenario. But it stops you to evolve. Right. So we need other guys to come, train, show new things for us, and
besides, in the YouTube era, I've got some super secret new spider guard sweep. Nobody's ever seen it before.
Yeah.
And I sweep some guy in the Pan Ams. The next day, there can be 10 people watching that video going, "What the hell did he? Let's go try that." And your secret is gone.
Yes, that's true.
So
nowadays it's way harder. That's why
that didn't exist back in Carlson's day.
Yeah.
So maybe the secrets were secrets.
Yeah. And they still have this créante mentality still exists. But I think little by little is disappearing. I think so.
I'm not saying it's true all the time, but I think often the créanche mentality of don't go train with anybody else is often people who are not very confident in what they teach. Or they don't know that much, they're feeling, so my God, if my student goes trains with you and sees that you know some stuff that I don't, I'm going to lose him, you're not allowed to go train with anybody else.
Man, it can be, but I can tell, or I'm going to tell by my own situation, okay? Man, I trained outside my gym very few times, but it was because of this mindset. Man, I want to train, I want to help my training partners, right? I don't want to help others. But when some guys from other gym come, I always welcome. I always train with them.
But you also trained at São Paulo, Alliance São Paulo, and Marcelo's in New York. And these are big places.
Why should I?
Yeah, exactly. And in the 100 students that are on the mat, there's a guy who does spider guard really well. There's a guy who does half guard really well. There's a guy who does berimbolo really well.
Yeah.
You kind of can get a lot of experience just in that one mat. But if you're a smaller club, you don't. Every one of the club is good at close guard.
I never thought about that. Yeah, you're right. If you're in a small club, you should go and But I never had this problem of I needed to go to another place to train. But on another hand, every guy who knock my door and always welcome. Even though, man, I just want to visit, that's okay. Come visit, let's train, have fun. That's fine.
Awesome. Do you find that, I think it's kind of amazing in the sport that you can do that most of the time. You can go to other clubs and train, whereas if you were, if you're in a professional basketball team, you can't just go drop in.
Oh, yeah.
It's, if you're a
Yeah, like soccer,
Yeah.
all this, especially this
A
sport.
guy from Manchester can't go
Yeah.
just play with the guys from, I don't know, not Manchester, Birmingham or something.
Yeah, that's an amazing part of jiu-jitsu for sure.
Awesome. So what, you're stuck in Canada for a while because of you're getting your resident thing, but then you're going to do some more seminars?
I'm doing seminars in Canada right now.
But you did Europe earlier this year.
This year I did a tour in Europe. I was in Germany, Poland, Ireland, England, France, what else? 2 more countries, yeah. But I'm always doing seminars.
Okay.
But I don't like to leave it too much. I think once a year I spend like a month outside Canada, like teaching and so on. It's good for me, but I don't like to leave my guys, because I want to train them and help them to improve, especially the ones that want to compete and so on.
Of course. Yeah, so you got to strike the balance between what's, traveling and, I'm assuming a nice financial reward for doing seminars.
It's not bad.
And making sure your guys continue to improve.
Yeah, so like before worlds, all right, before like major tournaments, I try to stay. I want to stay and help.
Okay.
After that, it's okay.
So my last question to you is, let's say hypothetically you were going to compete again, and you were going to be fairly serious, your school's in a good position, and you've been training hard, but now you're a month out from going to the Worlds or going to the Pans or the Abu Dhabi trials or something like that.
Okay.
What would that last month look like? Would you be doing teaching at all, or
no? I'll be teaching.
Okay.
I'll be teaching. Teaching is part of my training.
Okay.
All right. The only difference I can't teach. I can put all my focus in teaching. I have to put the focus on myself. I needed to be selfish.
So what does that look like? What does being selfish mean?
Selfish is like, Thomas, I have a question after class and say, man, sorry, man, ask me tomorrow. I need to go home and sleep. Or you see like, guys, let's train now, get a partner. And like, I'm going to put the timer and I see like, I don't know, I have like two tough guys in my gym, Pedrinho and Brian, right? They are together. And I say, Pedrinho, let me go with Brian first, you rest, and then I go with you, So
okay.
I'm not thinking about Pedrinho or Brian, just think about myself.
Okay.
So and I'm gonna pick only the guys that I wanna train, the toughest guys. I'm not gonna train with blue belts. I wanna train just with the best. So I think that's selfish because guys wanna train with you.
Of course.
And I'll be watching them. Oh, you're doing this right, this wrong, this wrong, this right. No, I don't care, man. I'm gonna focus on myself and period. And it doesn't combine if you want to be a good teacher.
Right.
All right. This.
I think if you explained it to your students correctly, like, look, man, I'm in competition mode. Sorry, I'll be back.
I understand, but it's not cool. At least I don't feel good with myself. So that's why I choose change my goal right now. My goal. I like actually imagine that, man. I never thought about fight words. I have 2 world titles, purple and brown belt. I got a 2nd place at no-gi words as a black belt. I did finals of the major tournaments, like Brazilian Nationals as a black belt, gi, no-gi, and like, man, I did so way beyond things that I was imagining that I could do it. I'm pretty happy, man. I'm pretty happy. A lot of my students do way more things, like things that I couldn't do it. I want to help them to believe that they are capable of, and for sure I want to help them to achieve these things. That's my real goal. Like I wanna make them way better than me. That's my goal.
Awesome. I don't think we can end it on a better note than that, Tomas.
Thank you,
so much.
Stephan.